Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to read an article titled, Men and Women Can't Be Just Friends. And guys, this article, obviously written by a guy, because usually guys are going to keep it real with this particular subject, hits the nail right on the head on this particular subject that a lot of people really go back and forth on and debate. You know, to me, it's not rocket science, but there are still a lot of people who don't quite get it. And I'm sure many of you guys have figured this out a long time ago that yes, men and women cannot be just friends. And when I say just friends, I'm talking about the same level that you would have with somebody that, like a buddy that you would hang out with. You know, one of your close friends on that level. No, that can't be done. You can have women that you're acquainted with that you might see every now and again. Then when you're at a party or a barbecue in the summertime, you get my point. And they're cool, and you can joke around with, have a good time, and that's it. But generally speaking, in terms of someone you actually go spend time with and hang out with, you know, from my perspective, unless we're hooking up, I'm not hanging out with some girl beyond just, hey, how you doing? How are the kids? Blah, blah, at some party or barbecue, okay? The last time I had a girl that I was actually friends with, when I didn't know any better, was back in college, okay? And a lot of guys get into that habit that they really like a woman, and they don't have the balls to ask her out, so they hope if they're just her friend, she'll see how great he is, and eventually he'll have a shot with her, or something like that, you know what I mean? And instead of just asking her out, and she turns him down, okay, fine, walks away. He tries that route. Or he asks her out, she doesn't like him, not enough to date him, but she's more than happy to keep him in the friend zone, and he'll stick around, again, hoping to show that he's such a good friend to her that she'll just realize that the guy, the bad boy she likes, because that's what it is, she'll then choose him over them. It doesn't work that way. She'll choose him to go hang out with and have him buy her dinner and have drinks and come to him with all her problems like a therapist, or come over to the house and hang out when she's bored and watch movies with and talk about other dudes. But believe me, they're not hooking up. And a lot of women will hang out with guys that they really don't want to be friends with, they really like, in the hopes that he will see how great they are, and it can turn into a relationship. So it just doesn't work that way, because deep down it's a fraud, really. You know, the guy's only hanging around her because really he wants something else other than genuine friendship, and it goes both, and the same thing with them. So I'm going to go through this, guys, and he's going to break it down. It's pretty good. I was reading this morning when I was having breakfast. So it starts off, some of you might disagree with me, some of you might be on the fence about this, and some of you might wholeheartedly scream yes while reading this post in pure agreement. And I want to start off this post with some clarifications and disclaimers. I'm not trying to have this post be construed as some RP, MG Tao type of post. That's just stupid. Of course, you had to bring that up. I do believe that men and women can definitely have a friendly relationship / be acquaintances, and can most definitely have professional work relationships. Well, I'm going to disagree with the professional work relationships. Nowadays, in today's world, it's best that, you know, you're at work doing your own thing, and that's that. I mean, I've done plenty of stories on that. You know, it doesn't mean you got to be rude or anything like that, but in the workplace, not anymore. But acquaintances, yes. It says, and finally, this should go without saying, women should always be respected, not only because they're people, duh, but because they're someone else's sister, daughter, mother, aunt, niece, cousin, double duh. Okay. I've decided to make this post because after dating around in graduate school and talking with some of the undergraduates in Binghamton, it seems insane to me how the youth can be so naive. Well, you know what? It is insane how they can be so naive, but guess what? Pretty much most of us did it. I was the same way. I thought I could be friends with girls or get them to change their mind about me, and I did all that, and it never worked. And I had women that really liked me that I really wasn't into, and they tried a friendship route into my heart. That didn't work either. But even more so, it dawned on me that there are some men and women my age and older who would still think men and women can actually be just friends. Do a quick Google search, and you'll see that there are many articles supporting this and very few posts refuting this claim. Of course, because in my opinion, guys, in my life experience, whatever the masses seem to think be true, think the opposite. Do the opposite, because the masses in this world generally aren't happy. They're not happy with their jobs. They're not happy with the amount of money they have. They're not happy with their relationships. They're not happy with their friendships. They're not happy with their body. You get the point. So if those very high important things they're not happy with, and they feel like they're not at their best with, then why am I going to trust their judgment on everything else? So if the masses seem to think one thing, I would start to question that and think the opposite. With that being said, here's why every guy and girl should know that men and women can't be just friend. He says, definition, what is a friend? To start off, I need to get some definitions laid down. The first thing that needs to be defined is what is a friend. The definition actually was given to me from a friend, Victor, who is from Moscow, and he laid out so plainly to me. A friend is someone who you can call when you have a serious problem, and they show up, no questions asked. A friend is like family because they have your back no matter what. Well, family does not always have your back no matter what. In fact, a lot of times that's not the case. I know what he's getting at here, but the family thing, not so much. A friend is someone who is loyal to you and not afraid to stand up for you, and is not afraid to stand up to you when they think you're throwing your life away or doing stupid shit. I agree wholeheartedly with that. A friend is someone who helps you grow and helps you when you have fallen down. A friend is someone who knows your life story and everything about you. A friend will always care about you and will not abandon you. These are definitely qualities of a true friend. But notice he's not mentioning anything that they secretly want to sleep with you or a relationship with you. Everyone else in the world is just an acquaintance / buddy or just a stranger. Friends, by this very definition, are very rare in this world, and they're supposed to be, because to be someone's friend is to be someone's ally to the grave. Yeah, really good friendships are rare. They do not come around every day. Americans seem to view my definition of friend as best friend and my definition of buddy, acquaintance, as friend. He says, it's biologically impossible. I don't know how it is for women, but speaking as a man, I can tell you that I have zero interest in being just a friend to a woman that I find attractive. When I was younger and naive, I thought that men and women could be friends. I had female friends that I would talk to. Excuse me, guys. I haven't been up very long, so I should have a little more water. A little clogged up here. I had female friends that I would talk to regularly, but the truth was I was attracted to them and was deluding myself to thinking we could actually be friends. See? Secretly, you want something else. I was using the friendship as a coping mechanism, hoping that one day, just maybe, we could have a romantic relationship instead. That is pretty much, I think pretty much most guys have done that at least once when they're younger. You know, they didn't ask her out, but they just wanted to they hung around her and did all these things that the friends do, hoping that she'll ask them out or pick them or flirt with them, and that would lead to something. Or, as you're going to see here, he'll ask her out, she turns him down, but they stay anyway. There are very few instances in my mind where a man can hold back a biological impulses, and those are, he's not straight, you work together, and professionalism is paramount compared to what little head thinks, she's part of your family. Being 25 years old now, I no longer bother trying to be friends with a woman, especially if I'm attracted to her. The reason being is because to deny how I feel about a woman I'm attracted to is childish and silly. I'm a man, and I don't bother hiding my true intentions with a woman. I'm interested in courtship, not friendship. Good. For you dating a relationship, guys. You ask them out, they turn you down, that's it. Walk away. You don't accept friendship, because then you become that guy that she dangles around and uses for attention and validation and drinks, and you to be her therapist. You come over to the house and fix something, if something's broken. I'm sure some of you guys, if you're honest with yourselves, have been in that position. Because guess what? I was that guy one time when I was way younger, high school, college. I didn't know any better. And I learned the hard way. Do you think I got anywhere with these girls that I just stayed friends with, that either I asked out or just hoped that would like me? No. Not once. I told you guys, I'm not the same guy as I was when I was younger. I had to learn the hard way. This is why I do what I do, to help spread knowledge and help younger guys out. It says, I'm not against being friendly with women and helping them out with little things, and that's just being a good person. But speaking as a man, to be a true friend to a woman and not have a romantic relationship with her seems bizarre, because if you as a man are willing to sacrifice your time and energy for a woman and you clearly care for her, it's obvious you want more than a friendship with her, and she's just not giving you what you want because she doesn't want a romantic relationship with you. Believe me, if she likes you, you're going to know it. She's going to go for it. She's going to want you. But if she doesn't, there you go. It's just friendship to her. The modern term is called simping, but when I was in high school, I was called a beta orbiter. Don't be a simp beta orbiter. Be a man and tell her what you want. Translation, ask her out. And if she doesn't want the same thing, walk away. That's the most respectful thing you can do for yourself and for her. Most guys don't do that. And if you ask her out and she turns you down, you walk away, there may be some part of her that thought maybe you weren't too bad looking, and that on some level she may actually get some respect for you for having the balls to walk away, because most guys wouldn't. And all of a sudden you may hear from her a month later. You never know. He says it's a waste of time for both parties. If you're a guy and the girl you're friends with says you're just friends, walk away and move on to another girl because you're just wasting your time with her. Absolutely. Women are picky, and they're like this for a good reason. But if a woman says to you she only sees you as a friend, that's basically her polite way of saying, I don't find you attractive and will never give you a chance because of XYZ. Exactly. I've been through this many times in my teens and early 20s, wasting so much time just hoping for a chance, when the reality is that she was never going to give me the chance, period. The same principles applies to all men. Are there one-off exceptions where the girl gives a guy a chance? Sure, but those are exceptions, not the norm. This is why it's a waste of time for men to be friends with a woman. For women, this is a huge waste of time because what you're in essence doing is having a friendship that quite literally has an expiration date. Women have to understand that these men are not your real friends and they're just interested in you sexually or romantically. Right. I've known women that I'm acquainted with that I've said some dude that they're hanging out with, I'm like, he's the only reason he's with you is because he likes you. And the girl's like, no, we're just friends. He's like my brother. Bullshit. He has the hots for you. No, he's like my brother. You may see him as like your brother, but he doesn't see it that way. He thinks he has a shot with you. No. Okay, you'll see. And I had one time where this same person I'm talking about, and she watches my channel on occasion, so maybe she's watching, he then put the moves on her, and she was shocked. It's like, shocked? What are you talking about? It was obvious. For you to deny this is to either you being naive or ignorant, or well aware of the realities and just being manipulative. If you still doubt what I have to say, go ahead and test your male friends by explicitly saying something sexual to them and saying that you want them. Go and see what happens. I'll be waiting to give you a I told you so. Just like that I told you so with that girl I'm acquainted with. To add on where I was born and raised, nearly all men and women think like this, where women have no interest in male friends because they know what men want. A lot do. Let me rephrase that. They all know what men want, but somehow when it comes to a guy like they're hanging out with, it's hard for them to imagine, no, he's like my brother, we're just friends. No, he's not. No, he wants you. He wants to see you naked. Don't kid yourself. It says here, they're all like this, where women have no interest in male friends because they know what men want, and men have no interest in female friends because they want a romantic relationship. Both parties are mature and understand what both want. It seems, though, that in the U.S., this concept seems to have skipped over many people's heads and is foreign. That is very true. But I have a hard time believing it's just the United States. I'm sure this is all around the world. It says here the dynamic is different. For those that have actually had a romantic relationship and things have ended, either mutually or not, if you and your partner had an intimate and S-word relationship, there is no way you can go back to being just friends. You've crossed the metaphorical romantic Rubicon, and they are former lovers, not friends. Yeah, this whole thing that you break up with someone you've been for a long time, and they let's just be friends. It's not going to work that way, because you're always going to one party is going to be more still kind of hung up on the other, and you're going to you know what each other looks like butt naked, how you roll in the hay, all these other things. It doesn't work. You can't be just friends. It's nonsense. You can be on civil, amicable terms in time when the healing happens, but go be best friends and hang out and go to museums together or movies and all that stuff or whatever. No, because it's going to be awkward as all hell, or sooner or later you're going to start having it rolling in the hay all over again. He says here, another way of putting it, friends don't have you-know-what with each other. The reason I'm saying this is because too often I've dealt with girls ending things with me and offering to stay just friends. I always respectfully decline and move on with my life. In my opinion, it's pretty obvious as to why. I don't want to be just friends, and even if I were to stay close with you, what's going to happen when I meet a new girl and start dating her? Right. Gentlemen, for many of you guys that are new, if you do dating relationships, just like this guy says, girl breaks up with you and wants to be just friends, no. You say you're not interested in just friendship if you are still into her, and you say pretty much, I'm only interested in what we had. If you're not willing to work on it, then I'm moving on. I appreciate you don't contact me because I got to move on. But we're not going to be just buddies and hang out and go to the freaking museum together or movies or whatever you do. No, not having it. And you walk. That's it. You're gone. And either you'll hear from her one day or not. And also, yeah, it will sabotage any future prospects. So the girl definitely won't be comfortable with me staying friends with an ex-lover and will want me to terminate the relationship. I wouldn't blame her either, because I wouldn't want to be all right with a significant other of mine still being friends with her former lover. Right. In the case of just making things less complicated, making life easier for everyone else. Some might say this is insecurity, immaturity. I call this common sense and not playing stupid games. It is common sense. But the problem is we live in a world where a lot of people think life should be on the basis of how things should be or ought to be, not how things really are. You know, a lot of people, not to get too much into politics, think policies, varying policies, should be based on ideals and idealistic ideas, not on real life and on reality and common sense. And when people try to run things, so to speak, on idealistic ideas versus common sense, it's a disaster. And I'm sure many of you guys could probably think of different examples in your own country or just things you've read about where that's the case. Life is filled with people who are manipulative. Don't bother wasting your time and energy on them. To the women reading this post, you know what I'm referring to. The guy that always seems to be around females that he states are just friends, yet you have your suspicions and reasonably healthy jealousy. To the men that are reading this, you certainly have been in my shoes where you meet girls who only have guy friends and instantly you see the red flags pop up. Right. Definite red flags. For the case of platonic relationships, I'm a firm believer that things are never platonic really. Either from the get-go, one party wants to date the other while the other one doesn't. Or both start off not wanting to be with one the other, yet over time, one party falls for the other and the other one doesn't want to date them. Right. This is just a really stupid game that two people are playing, and there never really was a friendship. Just one person hoping that the other would want to be with them romantically while the other has no interest, period. Yes, I mean, this guy, I know he keeps saying kind of the same thing in different ways, but he can't stress this enough. This is dead on. And a lot of people just are clueless. And it isn't just guys, it's also women too. He says, in ending, I know that this post may have possibly offended some of you. Who cares? I really don't care. That's your problem, not mine. I made this post simply to state something that had been known for centuries, since antiquity really, and seems to have gone over a lot of people's heads. If anything, maybe the ones that get angry reading this would stop and question for a second that the points that I'm bringing up are valid. No, people that read something that goes against their views and beliefs, they get fired up and angry. They're not the types to stop and question certain things or why somebody's writing something or reading something or making a speech about something. They're just going to get pissed off nowadays and say, that doesn't apply to me and that's BS. Rarely is somebody going to try to look at from another person's perspective. That's my life experience. To state that men and women can be friends is just being naive. They can certainly be acquaintances and colleagues, but never true friends without one party at a minimum wishing to have a romantic relationship with the other. As stated before, when I was a boy, I used to think men and women could be friends. Now I'm a man, I know for certain that that's just a lie we told ourselves in a vain attempt to be content with the harsh reality of things. To wrap things up, they made a song about guys and girls being just friends a long time ago, and it still holds true today. Other than that, hope you guys and gals get some value out of this post. And one last time, if you're a guy dealing with a situation where you're interested in a girl and she says, let's just be friends, politely decline and walk away. Because there never will be a friendship and you're just going to be wasting everyone's time. Bravo. Awesome. Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I read it this morning, so this is brilliant. This is exactly it. So, many of you guys already know and agree with this. This is just reinforcing your views, and I'm not the only one that talks about this, and you're not the only one that thinks this, believe me. And for many of you guys that are new to this type of thing, there you go. This guy is dead on. A lot of you guys value my opinions and seal of approval on certain things, and this guy, what he wrote here, dead on. Couldn't agree more. So, if you are watching this right now, and there's a woman or women that you go out and hang out with and do things with that, let's be honest here, you really don't want to be just their buddy. You want to be in a romantic relationship and hooking up with. If you've asked them out already and they've turned you down and now you're that guy, that friend zone guy, leave, move on. Don't waste your time. It's not going to happen. Or if you haven't asked them out yet, but you're just hanging out with them and hoping that they see how wonderful you are and then waiting for that moment to ask them out, get some balls, ask him out. They turn you down, that's it, move on. Because the longer you wait, because believe me, they know you like them. Newsflash, they know. So by you taking too long to ask them out, that shows a lack of confidence. And last time I checked, women like men with confidence and go for what they want. So you like a woman, you ask her out. End of story. She turns you down, move on. If she likes you, great. But don't do this friend zone stuff. It doesn't work. And they're not going to respect you anyway. And I might add, her friend, you may think like, okay, well, she turned me down, but I'll hang out and be her buddy and hang out with her and all that stuff. And then maybe her friends will see me. Maybe one of them will like me. Well, then they're going to see you following her around like a little puppy dog. They're not going to respect you because they're like, well, if she didn't like him, why should I like him? Because you know about the SMV, S-word market value. A lot of women like you, okay, your SMV goes up. A lot of women don't like you, it goes down. So if they see their friend hanging out with you, and she's not interested in you, they're like, well, why would I be interested in him? Because Heidi over there doesn't like him either. See what I mean, guys? So, all right, guys. I thought it was a very good one here for Saturday morning. That is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know about your experiences with that, guys. Let me know and be honest. Were you that guy? Were you that guy in the past that hung out with the girls and all that, and then ultimately you tried to be their friend, and guess what? Never got anywhere? I'd like to hear about it. It will help guys out that watch this around the world. So that is it for today, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.